Hey everybody, this is Gary and welcome to the review of DC's Stargirl Season 2, Episode 3. I know it's the full swing of season season 2. So, what happened this season? Well, it starts off with a flashback, as it always does, to 11 years ago, where we see Johnny Thunder. Now, this is the first time we see somebody outside of Starman from the old Justice Society, and he's dressed in like a suit with like a green jumper saying, "Oh, they've sidelined me a little bit," and it's like, "Oh, well, who is this dude?" Uh, and he goes to Wildcat. Ted Grant comes and gets in and says, "Oh, we've got something going on. They brought Solomon Grundy." So the article goes says, "Oh, and him and Stripesy have been having a chat about the fact that they're both been sidelined a little bit." Um, so that was awesome. Mike, um, wants to write something down, but the penny isn't working, so he gets his pink one, writes it down, and he says, "I wish I was a hero." And this thing just like bursts into it, and he has to go to his paper round, and these guys, now they're supposed to be teenage school bullies, but I didn't see it, so um, they bullied poor Mike. So Mike, they beat him up and stuff like that, and he comes back and he says oh, they don't even acknowledge the fact that he's been beaten up and stuff like that. So he goes out again, and then as he's going, he gets to see this notice that says "so cool" on it. Like he sees it on the street, he sees it on for sale signs, he sees it on things. So it says "so cool," and then all of a sudden this purple being, because apparently it's been voiced by Jim Gaffigan, who apparently is an American comic of some. No, I don't know who Jim Gaffigan is. I'm sorry. If you're American, please tell me who Jim Gaffigan is. Uh, he he's there, and he's just like seeing stuff like so cool is my magic word to where I come from, and it seems to be where I come from. He does it no longer exists and stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty cool. And it says you have to be specific what you wish for, and also you can't wish for the same thing twice. I thought that's got to be so limited, because imagine I wish for £1 million or $1 million. It is that you have to be very specific about. I'd like $1 million in cash money, in front of me right now. That's specificity, and the thing is that Mike is so bad at wishing, and and I guess because he wishes to be taller, and literally a sheet comes up and he says, "Oh, I'd advise not doing." I can't think of doing it before. It didn't work right before. It's like, oh, what's that? And again, there's lots of things that would be teased in this episode that the Thunderbolt teases. And anyway, he's going forward, and he says there's a couple of things you can't wish for. You can't wish for me to kill somebody. You can't wish somebody back from the dead. I've done that before and it didn't work. And it's like, oh, well, what the hell was that? It's like maybe that's what brought Solomon Grundy back. Maybe that somebody wished for Solomon Grundy back, and that's what brought Solomon Grundy. So maybe he's the one who made Solomon Grundy, the way he is. But yeah, he comes past those bullies again, and they're harassing some little girl, and they steal her cookies. And he says, "I want you to stop them." And all of a sudden, he stops signs start flying from the other, literally like literally millions of the bloody things, literally awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Also, we then cut to summer school where Courtney's talking to Yolanda, and they're having private conversations. I might have to kill somebody again, and literally they're doing it in earshot of Isaac Bowen, whose mum was killed by the Justice League, last season. So yeah, so that's probably going to be leading to him coming into the new Injustice Society. Um, the next bit, he brings you. When they come across him doing that, the things, and they bring it into the shop, and like he's saying, "Oh, I told you to leave it alone." He says, "Oh, I forgot about it," and it's like, "Well, he says, now I've got power." He says, "No, you can't use this thing." And like, and he's like, "Well, Courtney's just like." Says like we've talked about it. We want him to be part of the team, and they talk to Barbara, and she says yes as well. And considering that Barbara isn't Mike's real mum, she's his stepmom. Everybody values what she has to say. As part of because she's basically all their mums. She's Beth's mum. She's Rick's mum because their parents are both absent. Rick because his parents died. Beth because his parents don't seem to give a crap about her. And also Yolanda's as well, because her parents just don't want anything to do with her either. And I think this whole series is about absentee parents. The most present parents are actually on the bad side, the bad guy side. But yeah, the Thunderbolt, like says, I connected with him because he feels alone. And like this is the first time you see that. Stripes, he acknowledges that maybe he isn't giving his son as much attention as he gives Courtney, considering that he doesn't have superpowers, and maybe that's the reason he wants to have it, so he can have that time with his dad. So, the next bit. Barbara's working at thing, and then obviously it goes dark, and then all of a sudden you see the Shade, Jonathan Swift come up and say, "Oh, I'm just looking." I was let by your assistant, he says that I can look at it, and he goes out and he takes out that he's looking for something, and he takes out the box that had the stone that Eclipse was in. So like he's looking at it, he opens it, and he sees it missing. He says, "I'll have this. I need to bring this with me." And he says, "You need to get out." It says, "Please don't do that." And like she picks up her phone and she can't get it to work and stuff like that. It's pretty damn terrifying. And he says, please get out of here, and then he goes down and says, I'm afraid, that's very silly, we're going on so it goes dark and he disappears. This was creepy as sin. The fact he did that, and then she talks to the Justice Society about it, and then they all of a sudden decide they want to go searching for it. So then Mike goes searching for it, and then all of a sudden, they find him, and he's like just sat. He says, "Please sit down," and stuff like that. And they'll sit down, and they'll just says, "Look, I can't tell you why I'm here." Says you part of the Justice Society. He says, "Well, my interests in this aligned for a brief moment, but I was never member of their little club." I like that. He's very the Shade from the comic books, especially if you've read Starman, James Robinson's run Starman. It goes into that in the fact that he will work with whoever aligns with his interests, whether it be the police, whether it be Starman, whether it be the heroes, whether it be the villains. He does not have a particular side that he bats for, which is great. The next bit is. Then something gets said, and they all get sent to the wall, and they touch the staff, and then she turns to the staff, says, "I'm going to say this one, just stay away," and he disappears into darkness. So good, so good stuff. Then the next thing, what happens is, Rick and Beth. Talking. I'd say then she's still trying to get things to work. They come back from that, and then all of a sudden, Mike's got the penny. He says, "What do you want this?" He says, "Do you want me?" He says, "I wish this was in better hands," and the thing just disappears. and like goes to Janky, but it's like, oh, that this is on the road from to turn into bad guy, because I've seen that Mikey's going to turn into bad guy because now they've got a clip, so they can turn him into a bad guy now. But the next bit is Beth and Rick are talking, and she admits to him that that she's worried that her parents are getting divorced. He says, "When we tried talking to them," he says, I don't have my parents, but if I did, I'd talk to them." And it was such a tender moment. And it was, Cameron Grauman, who plays Rick, did such a good job of like conveying what he meant in this. Is that he wish he had his parents to talk to, and she. Then all of a sudden, like the glasses are light up, and it says, "I don't know if you can hear me, but Eclipso is out there." And this is the first time that they've heard the name Eclipso. And then after that, we next pan up to like the tower, like the clock tower, and then we see the shade on top of it, and he looks at the box and says, "Eclipso's going to kill the children." And he's just like, "Oh my God!" The thing is that this tone is just very matter of fact. There is no, there's just fear in his tone. Anyway, that was a tremendous episode. Very not a lot of action, a little smidgy of action, but again, it didn't really need action. It built up a couple of things, but it built up the Shade and how powerful and how unstoppable he is, and two, it builds up the fear of Eclipso. The fact that the Shade is afraid of Eclipso. And considering what happened in the last episode, I can see why. Anyway, hopefully that next episode we get more of Eclipso. Because I want to see more of Eclipso, to be honest with you. But anyway, that was my review. Hopefully we'll see you next week for more Stargirl. And can you have a super week?